She doesn't see you. That's the silent, brutal truth that gnaws at you in the quiet moments. You exist in her peripheral vision, a harmless blur of sound and shape, but you are not seen. Not in the way that matters, not in the way that ignites a spark or commands a room. You've been told to be yourself, to be a good listener, to be the nice guy. And what has it gotten you? A front row seat to watch her desire ignite for someone else. Rejection implies you were a candidate in the first place. You were simply overlooked, erased from the emotional landscape before the battle even began. She didn't leave you. She never even arrived. She didn't break your heart. She simply confirmed it wasn't beating loud enough for her to notice. You stand there, a ghost in the machine of social dynamics, convinced that your words are your weapons. You meticulously choose them, polish them, arrange them into what you believe are compelling arguments for your own value. You talk about your ambitions, your passions, your carefully constructed personality. And all the while, she is listening to a different language. A primal, honest, and unforgiving language spoken by your own body. A language that is screaming your insecurity, your hesitation, your desperate need for approval. Think back to the last time. That party, that coffee shop, that moment you thought you had a connection. You were leaning in, your voice a carefully modulated instrument of charm. You made her laugh, or so you thought. But did you see it? Did you see how her feet, hidden under the table, were pointed not at you, but at the door? A silent testament to her escape plan. Did you notice the microsecond of tension in her jaw when you moved an inch too close? A flicker of intrusion that your conscious mind blissfully ignored? Her smile was a social courtesy, a mask worn for 1,000 other men just like you. Her laughter was a well-practiced deflection. While you were busy performing your monologue, her body was telling the real story. The slight, almost imperceptible shift of her weight away from you. The way her eyes darted to the bartender, the entrance, anywhere but locking onto yours for more than the socially required duration. The way her hands created a barrier, clutching her drink to her chest. These weren't subtle hints. They were blaring sirens, and you were deaf to them, lost in the noise of your own hope. You were playing checkers while she was playing a game you didn't even know existed. A game of territory, energy, and unspoken dominance. And you were losing, badly. The ancient strategists understood this principle perfectly. Sun Tzu wrote, "All warfare is based on deception, but what they don't tell you is that the most profound deception is the one you practice on yourself. You have deceived yourself into believing that the world operates on the currency of words and intentions. That if you are just sincere enough, just interesting enough, just good enough, respect and attraction will be your reward. This is a lie sold to the compliant masses to keep them predictable and powerless. The real world, the world of raw human interaction, operates on a much older and more powerful currency. Perceived value, demonstrated confidence, and the ability to read the unspoken signals that govern 90% of our communication. Her body told you everything you needed to know. It told you she was not engaged. It told you she felt no pull, no magnetic force, no reason to surrender her attention to you. It told you that you were, in that moment, a waste of her time. And the most devastating part is that she knows you can't see it. Your illiteracy in this silent language is what makes you safe, predictable, and ultimately, forgettable. She knows you will leave that interaction thinking you did well, or at worst, that you just didn't have a connection, never realizing you were broadcasting your own defeat from the moment you walked into the room. There is a hidden architecture of attraction, a silent blueprint of desire that is communicated in every glance, every posture, every subtle shift in breathing. It's in the way she flicks her hair, not as a nervous tick, but as a subconscious signal the moment a man of perceived high value enters her orbit. It's in the way her pupils dilate when her mind is captivated, a biological response you cannot fake and cannot lie about. It's in the accidental brush of her hand that lingers for a fraction of a second too long, a test of your awareness, a silent invitation to escalate. This is the language of power. Until you become fluent, you will remain a tourist in the world of genuine human connection, forever looking through the glass, wondering why you were never invited inside. But what if you could learn that language? What if you could stop listening to the distracting noise of words and start seeing the truth written in the human form? What if you could walk into any room and within seconds understand the currents of power and desire flowing around you? This knowledge is a weapon. It is a key. And once you have it, the world will never look the same again. The comfortable blindness you currently live in will be shattered, replaced by a clarity that is both terrifying and exhilarating. You will finally see the Matrix. If you are tired of being a ghost, tired of being misunderstood and overlooked, then this is your moment of awakening. This channel is your training ground. The first step is to declare your presence, to signal that you are ready to abandon your old ways. Subscribe now and activate all notifications because you cannot afford to miss a single transmission. Push the like button as a commitment to your own transformation. And in the comments below, I want you to perform your first act of strategic positioning. Tell us what city and what country you are watching from. Plant your flag. Let us and the world know where the new generation of men who refuse to be invisible is rising from. Your journey into the heart of psychological warfare and emotional mastery begins now. Your authority did not vanish in a single, explosive argument. It wasn't stolen from you in a dramatic confrontation. It was surrendered. Piece by piece, in 1,000 silent transactions you barely noticed. It was a slow poisoning, and you willingly drank from the cup every single day, convincing yourself it was the price of admission for love or acceptance. This is the cold, forensic analysis of your downfall. There are stages to this decay, a predictable sequence of events that leads from a position of strength to one of pathetic servitude. The first stage is almost always emotional concession. It begins innocently. She is upset, perhaps about something you see as trivial, a comment from a friend, a change of plans, a forgotten errand. The test begins. Your masculine instinct, your mission-oriented mind, sees a problem to be solved logically, but you have been trained by a weak society to believe that her emotional state is a four-alarm fire that you must extinguish at all costs. So you abandon your frame. You stop what you're doing. You sit down and you listen. You validate her feelings, even if you find them irrational. You apologize for something you don't believe was wrong. In that moment, you teach her a critical lesson. Her emotions are a weapon that can command your attention and dictate your actions. She tested. You yielded. She won. The foundation now has a crack. You thought you were being a good partner, but what you actually communicated was that her emotional reality is more important than your objective one. You handed her the remote control to your nervous system. From that first concession, you slide inevitably into the second stage, the loss of control. Having learned that her displeasure can steer you, she begins to use it, consciously or not, to shape your behavior. It starts small. She gives you a cold look when you mention a night out with your friends. She sighs dramatically when you want to spend a Sunday afternoon watching the game instead of going shopping with her. You, wanting to avoid the emotional firestorm, begin to preemptively alter your plans. You start canceling on friends. You stop pursuing hobbies that she doesn't approve of. Your life, which was once a territory governed by your own mission and purpose, becomes a series of negotiations and compromises aimed at one thing. You are no longer the captain of your ship. You are a frantic deckhand, constantly checking the weather of her face, terrified of the next storm. You tell yourself this is what a relationship is about. This is give and take. But look honestly at the ledger. You are doing all the giving, and she is doing all the taking. You have surrendered your autonomy for a fragile, temporary peace. This is the stage where your friends start to notice. They stop calling as much. Say you've changed. And you have. You've become a satellite orbiting her world, your own gravitational pull weakening by the day. This leads directly to the third, and perhaps most degrading stage, the desperate search for validation. Your self-worth is now outsourced. It is no longer generated internally from your achievements, integrity, or your adherence to your own code. It is a commodity that only she can grant you. You become a performer, a dancing monkey, constantly seeking her approval. You buy her gifts not from a place of genuine abundance, but as a plea for a smile. You compliment her excessively, hoping for a crumb of affection in return. Your questions change. You no longer ask, "What do you think?" out of genuine curiosity. You ask, "Are you happy? Are you okay? Did I do good?" Your entire being is calibrated to her reaction, A slight frown from her can ruin your day. A moment of her undivided positive attention feels like a drug, a temporary high that makes the servitude almost bearable. You are living in a state of constant, low-grade anxiety because your emotional state is entirely dependent on someone else. This is the antithesis of masculine energy. You were born to be a rock, a mountain. Instead, you have become a leaf in the wind, tossed about by the ever-changing breeze of her approval. Her silence is dominance, not inattention. When she withholds her validation, she is training you, reinforcing your dependency, making you work even harder to please her the next time. Once you are fully addicted to her validation, you enter the fourth stage, complete affective dependency. Her power over you is now absolute. You cannot imagine your life without her, not because you love her so deeply, but because you are terrified of the withdrawal that her absence would cause. Fear of being alone is greater than your desire for self-respect. This is where you become utterly predictable. She knows exactly which buttons to push to get what she wants. She knows that withdrawing her affection will send you into a panic. She knows that a well-timed accusation will make you crumble and apologize. She tested you, and you failed. You failed every test so consistently that she no longer even sees them as tests. This is just your dynamic. This is who you are to her. The compliant, predictable, safe man who will never leave, because he lacks the strength to do so. Text her, and if she doesn't respond immediately, your mind races. What did I do? Is she mad at me? You see her online, active, but not responding to you, and it feels like a physical blow. You have given one person the power to define your reality, and that is the most dangerous position a man can ever be in. No one is coming to save you. You built this prison yourself, one concession at a time. The final act in this tragedy is when you break the silence, but you do it in the weakest way imaginable. Overwhelmed by your own misery and confusion, you initiate the talk. You sit her down and you vomit your feelings all over the table. You tell her how unhappy you are, how you feel unappreciated, how you just want things to be like they were before. You explain your intentions. You justify your weaknesses. You plead for her understanding. You are a defendant in a court where she is the judge, jury, and executioner. And in that moment, any lingering spark of respect she might have had for you is extinguished forever. You have revealed the totality of your weakness. You have shown her that you have no internal strength, no options, and no leverage. You are begging. When you apologized for things you didn't do, when you begged her to see your good heart, you signed your surrender. You handed her the signed, notarized deed to your soul. She may not leave you. In fact, she may even become nicer for a short while, out of pity. But pity is the death of desire. You are no longer her partner. You are her project. Burden she has decided to carry for now. Now I can hear the objections brewing in your mind, the programming kicking in. But isn't it good to be vulnerable? Isn't communication the key to a healthy relationship? Let's dismantle that flawed logic with the brutal truth. Vulnerability without strength is just neediness. Communicating your weaknesses from a position of desperation is not a negotiation. It's a plea for mercy. The world, and especially the feminine, does not respond to your intentions. It responds to your demonstrated power. She doesn't care that you meant well. She feels that you are weak. That is the only reality that matters. Your fall from grace wasn't televised. It happened in the quiet moments. It was in the hesitation before you stated your opinion. It was in the yes you uttered when your entire being screamed, no. It was in the apology you gave just to end a fight you knew you were right about. Each one was a small death, a tiny surrender of your masculine core. You thought you were buying peace, but you were only funding a war against yourself. The battlefield was never the living room. Inside your own mind. You lost the war the moment you decided her emotional comfort was more important than your own self-respect. Time to stop the bleeding. It's time to see the game for what it is and learn the rules they never taught you. If you are ready to stop being a casualty and start becoming a strategist, then your real training begins now. Hit the like button as a declaration of war against your own weakness. Subscribe to this channel and activate all notifications, because every video is a crucial briefing you cannot afford to miss. Now, for your first strategic exercise in radical honesty, go to the comments and answer this question. What was the one small compromise you made? The one you told yourself didn't matter, that you now realize was the beginning of your surrender? Name it. Acknowledge the wound. It is the first step to cauterizing it and beginning the long, hard road back to power. No going back for the weak man, only the construction of the new one. Let that sink into your bones. The man you were, the one who conceded, who outsourced his happiness, dead. You will not mourn him. You will not try to revive him. You will bury him in an unmarked grave and build a monument of strength on top of it. What you are about to embark on is not a journey of emotional healing. It is a cold, tactical reconstruction of your entire operating system. The objective is not to win her back. The objective is to make the man she knew obsolete. To build a version of yourself so far beyond her reach that her memory of you feels like a story about a different person. This is not about hope. This is a poor plan for the reclamation of your soul. Your first command is to cut the excess. Everything in your life that does not contribute to your mission is a liability. This begins with her. Effective immediately, you will reinstall the principle of absolute scarcity. You will vanish from her life. This is not a dramatic announcement. There will be no final text, no "I need some space" conversation. That is the plea of a weak man asking for permission to leave. You will ask for nothing. You will simply disappear, block her number, unfollow her on all social media, remove every digital pathway she has to you. This is not for her. It is for you. It is a cleansing. Every time you see her name, her picture, her online status, it is a trigger that pulls you back into the emotional prison of her validation. You are severing the puppet strings. This sudden, unexplained void is a weapon. She is used to your constant availability, your predictable orbit around her. When that orbit ceases to exist without explanation, it creates a psychological vacuum. Her mind, which had you neatly categorized as safe and predictable, will be forced to confront a question. Where did he go? This question is the seed of doubt in her perception of you. You are no longer a known quantity. You have become a mystery, and the human mind abhors a mystery it cannot solve. The second command, install silence. When the vacuum you've created becomes deafening, she will reach out. It is inevitable. It will not be a direct apology. It will be a probe, a test. Casual, "Hey, how have you been?" or a shared memory, or a question about something trivial. She is testing the leash. She is checking to see if you are still there, waiting to be summoned. Your response to this test will define the entire future of your dynamic. And your response will be absolute, unforgiving silence. You will not answer. You will not even read the message if you can help it. Every instinct in your old, weak self will scream at you to reply. It's rude not to. What if she needs something? Maybe this is her way of apologizing. These are the death rattles of the man you are burying. Reply in any capacity is to lose. Friendly reply tells her you are still the harmless friend. An angry reply tells her she still has emotional control over you. A logical reply engages you in her frame. Silence is the only answer that communicates true power. Silence says, "Your attempt to access me has been denied." Silence says, "You are no longer relevant to my world." Silence says, "I have other, more important things to focus on." Do not reconquer. Replace with a sharper silence. This silence is not passive. It is an active force. It is a wall she runs into, and it forces her to confront the reality that the man she thought she had figured out is gone. She will become confused, then frustrated, then perhaps even angry. Let her. Her emotional state is no longer your responsibility. You are no longer the firefighter for her manufactured dramas. If interaction is absolutely unavoidable, if you share a workplace or a critical social circle, your third command is to engage with minimal, unpredictable interaction. Your new mode of communication is that of a busy, important man for whom she is a minor footnote. Your interactions must be brief, professional, and devoid of all emotion. If she speaks to you, You respond politely but concisely. You answer the direct question and nothing more. You do not ask about her life. You do not share details about yours. Your body language is open, but your energy is closed to her. You make eye contact, but it is the eye contact of a superior addressing a subordinate, not a former lover. It is calm, steady, and slightly detached. Then you are the one who ends the interaction. You have somewhere to be. You have something to do. You turn and walk away, leaving her mid-thought. This unpredictability is key. One day you might offer a polite nod. The next, you might seem to look right through her. She will be unable to get a read on you, to find a pattern, to re-establish the old dynamic. You are no longer a predictable system to be manipulated. You are chaos. You are a storm on the horizon. Be the absence that carries weight, not the presence that begs. These first three commands are the defensive perimeter. They stop the bleeding. But the true war is won on the offense. The fourth and most critical command is a total and ruthless focus on your own hierarchy. The silence and scarcity you create are not for sitting in a dark room and ruminating. That time is now the fuel for your transformation. You will attack your own weaknesses on 4 fronts. First, the physical. You will forge a new body in the fires of discipline. The gym is your new temple. You will lift heavy weights until your muscles tear and rebuild themselves stronger. You will run until your lungs burn. You will sculpt your physique with the precision of an artist. Not for her, but for the man you see in the mirror. Your body is the vessel of your power, and it will communicate strength before you ever utter a word. Second, the financial. You will become obsessed with your mission, your work, your business, your purpose. This is now your primary relationship. You will pour every ounce of your reclaimed emotional energy into building your empire. Money is a tool, but the pursuit of it through competence and ambition is a powerful signal of masculine value. A man on his purpose is the most attractive force in the universe. Third, the social. You will rebuild your kingdom. Reconnect with the male friends you abandoned. Build a brotherhood, a tribe. You will go out, be seen, and expand your social territory. You will learn to talk to other women, not with the goal of replacing her, but to rebuild your social confidence and demonstrate to the world, and to yourself, that you have options. Social proof is a powerful indicator of value. And fourth, the symbolic. You will study the language of power. You will become a student of human nature, of psychology, of the unspoken signals you were once blind to. You will read, you will watch, you will observe. You will develop a presence, a frame, that is unshakable. This is the internal work that powers everything else. It is the quiet confidence that comes from knowing you understand the game better than anyone else in the room. This is the path. It is not easy. It requires a level of discipline and ruthlessness that the old you could never have imagined. But the alternative is a lifetime of quiet desperation, of being the nice guy who finishes last, of being a ghost in your own life. You must understand this critical truth. A man who wants to be loved will be discarded. A man who imposes his presence will be feared. And out of that fear, a new, more profound form of respect is born. A respect she never gave you, because you never demanded it. You will not look back. You will not check her social media. You will not ask mutual friends about her. Your focus is forward, on the man you are becoming. Her chapter is over. The rest of your book is waiting to be written. This is your call to arms. The war for your self-respect has already begun, and every moment you delay is another victory for your weakness. You are ready to burn the old you to the ground and build an empire from the ashes, then solidify your commitment now. Hit the like button as a symbol that you are lighting the match. Subscribe to this channel and activate all notifications, because this is your new command center, and every piece of intel is vital to your mission. Now, for your first act of strategic execution. I want you to go to the comments and answer this with brutal honesty. What is the one comfort, the one weakness, be it a person, a habit, or a mindset, you will execute from your life, starting today, to make room for your strength? Name your sacrifice. Let the world bear witness to your vow. Your reconstruction begins now. Reconstruction is complete. The man you were is a fossil, a footnote in the history of your own evolution. The silence you implemented was not a tactic. It was the sound of a new world being forged. The scarcity you created was not a game. It was the natural consequence of a man whose time became infinitely more valuable. You did not heal. You weaponized your scars. You did not recover. You rebuilt yourself with superior materials, upon a foundation of absolute, unshakable purpose. You followed the commands. You purged the weakness. You focused on your forefronts, the physical, the financial, the social, and the symbolic. You are no longer a satellite in her orbit. You are a star system, and your gravity now bends the world to you. And now, the final test will come. It always does. The ghosts of the past are drawn to the light of a powerful present. She will see you. Not in a chance encounter, but because she will have sought you out. The whispers of your transformation will have reached her. The social proof of your new life, the images of the man you've become, will have haunted her feeds. She will see you across a crowded room, and the man she sees will be a stranger wearing a familiar face. The hesitation in your posture is gone, replaced by a grounded stillness. The pleading in your eyes is gone, replaced by a calm, predatory focus. Your body, once a testament to your insecurity, is now a statement of your discipline. And in that moment, the entire dynamic of your shared history will invert with the force of a collapsing star. You will see it happen. You, the new you, the man fluent in the language she speaks but doesn't understand she's speaking, will read her like a book written in a child's hand. You will see her pupils dilate, an involuntary biological betrayal of her shock and intrigue. You will see her subconsciously smooth her dress or touch her hair, the ancient, pre-programmed signals of a female mind suddenly confronted by a high-value male. You will see her turn her body towards you, even as she pretends to be engaged in conversation with her friends. Her feet, those honest traitors, will be aimed directly at you, the new magnetic north of her attention. Every signal you once desperately hunted for, every crumb of validation you would have died for, will be presented to you on a silver platter, and you will feel nothing. Not anger, not triumph, not even satisfaction. You will feel the profound and silent indifference of a king observing the pleas of a peasant from a land he no longer rules. Her signals are no longer a code for you to decipher for a chance at connection. They are now just data points, confirming a hypothesis you proved long ago. Attraction is a response to power, not a reward for good behavior. She will approach. Her approach will be a masterpiece of plausible deniability. A chance encounter. A crazy seeing you here. She will try to engage you in the old frame, to summon the ghost of the man who once orbited her. She will ask you questions, not to learn the answers, but to gauge your emotional state, to see if the old puppet strings are still attached. This is the moment of truth. The old you would have seen this as your victory lap. You would have engaged, perhaps coldly, perhaps smugly, but you would have engaged. You would have shown her the new you, seeking that final, delicious moment of her regret. But the man you are now understands that seeking her regret is still a form of seeking her validation. It is the last, most subtle trap of the ego. Your victory is not in her reaction. Your victory is in your absolute, genuine lack of need for any reaction at all. Your response will be the final, killing blow, delivered not with a sword, but with a void. You will be polite, but brief. You will be warm, but distant. You will look at her, but you will not truly see her. You will see a reminder of a weakness you have long since burned away. You will not ask her a single question about her life. Her world, her dramas, her existence are utterly irrelevant to your mission. You are the one who ends the interaction. You have people to see, things to do, an empire to build. You will give her a slight nod, a disconnected smile, and you will turn and walk away. You will not look back. You will leave her standing there, not rejected, but erased. You came seeking a reaction, anger, longing, anything to prove she still had a hold on you. You will give her nothing. You will give her the chilling, terrifying silence of your complete and total emotional departure. She will finally understand that your silence was never about her. It was the sound of you closing a door on a room she can never re-enter. This is the nature of true power. The chessboard she thought you were playing on has been incinerated. You didn't just flip the board, you walked away from the game entirely, because you realized you were the one who owned the entire building. Her attempts to play her old moves are meaningless, because you are no longer a player. You are the architect of a new reality, and in that reality, she does not have a security clearance. The revenge you sought is not in her pain, but in your peace. The ultimate vindication is not her wanting you back, but in you having built a life so compelling, so purpose-driven, that her presence would be a downgrade. You have become the man she would have to compete for. You have made the conscious decision that she is not qualified to even enter the race. Respect is never given. It is never requested. It is imposed. It is the silent, inevitable consequence of a man who respects himself so profoundly that the opinions of others become ambient noise. You did not lose her. You lost yourself in her. And in finding yourself, you rendered her obsolete. The world is filled with men begging to be seen, screaming for attention. You must learn to command it with your absence. You must build a legacy so powerful that your silence is louder than any other man's word. Not the end of your journey, it is the beginning of your reign. If you are ready to abandon the shallow game of attraction and begin the great work of building an empire of the self, then declare your allegiance. Strike the like button as a symbol of your coronation. Subscribe and activate all notifications, for this is the War Room for Kings. And now, answer this in the comments below, not for me, but as a contract with yourself. The man you are burying needed her validation to feel alive. The man you have become needs a mission. What is the name of the empire you will build on the ashes of your former self? The day she finally understands who you've become is the day she realizes she never knew you at all.